Welcome to Roleplay Rejects, where we play new and unusual tabletop RPGs. This season, we're playing Bunkers and Badasses by Nerdvana Games. So grab your dice and let's get you rolling. Hello, and welcome to the epilogue or whatever for Bunkers and Badasses. We're going to talk about where our characters go after the story ends, maybe. Maybe the after effects of all the events on the island. And then we're going to talk about what we think of the system. So, we ended last time saying oh, all right, what now? And I'm going to ask you guys, what now? For you guys. I have other information, but...
Okay, Fudge Puppy's going to go, if that's cool.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay. So...
I love you guys so much.
These dogs.
Okay, so we're going to apologize in advance for any thumping you hear. It's dog tails. It's fine.
That sounds like a TV
Please
show.
disregard.
So, Fudge Puppy is going to scratch Human behind the ear. And I think that he goes... Because I don't know if Human can go through the fast travel network. Can he?
If you're holding him, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Then Fudge Puppy will hold on to Human, and he's going to go right back to the throne room.
Sorry, my throat made a noise. Did I mention that the Echomancer's fixed your shit?
You did.
Reconnected.
All right,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So Fudge Puppy...
Wait, you guys you weren't able to fast travel.
Oh, beforehand? Well, we would walk the long way.
Yeah, we would have
yeah.
just walked. I figured. I thought since we had babies, we would be walking anyway.
I just
Yeah.
didn't even... You know what? The babies have the fast travel, so you guys all held hands and disintegrated together.
Okay.
Hog.
So, Fudge Puppy holds on to Human and then fast travels to the throne room. I imagine that it has only been an
No
hour.
one's gone to the castle yet. It's...
The campaign ended 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fudge Puppy will get there, scratch Human behind the ear, and then we'll start walking up to a certain furry creature that is currently sitting in the king's chair.
And is still being surrounded by what's basically a puddle next to it.
So Fudge Puppy will move up.
Misty.
The puddle kind of sloshes. What do you want?
I would like to help bury your fucker. The fun Pudgy was never able to bury his friends, and thus wants to bury yours.
Holy shit, Fudge.
Oh.
That was really well worded.
Because being pronounced or shown his previous memories,
Trauma.
Yeah.
previous
Yeah.
trauma, I think is bringing a lot back
A lot. Yeah.
currently. So
Okay, I guess. I would really appreciate it. It takes me a long time to dig holes.
You have no hands, and the fun Pudgy forgot to grab forgot to grab
A shovel.
no Gary
Who?
forgot to grab Gary's hands.
Who's Gary?
This fucking guy.
Okay.
Yeah. he
The
was
fun
nice.
Pudgy will help move your fucker.
He sounds pretty unmemorable. So
Honestly.
I'm gonna drop the subject.
Who?
Gary.
Poor guy.
so I think Fun Pudgy will grab Fogger And we'll also grab any of the remnants of Bella that he can.
Okay.
And I think we then see, like, we kind of cut to another scene over at the Fogger's house.
By the hut.
By the hut.
I would like to interject as well, and kind of grab like between phase locking and my bare hands, go into that closet of skeletons we saw, and just grab like the pieces. Kind of like also conduct like a mass grave not far from the castle.
Damn, Isaac peeking through in this.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Yeah, it just feels bad, right? Like all these people died in their bones.
Isaac is his character in Pathfinder. And
Yeah, I play a cleric in
follow
Pathfinder that really
Pharasma.
cares about like a proper like death and not like
and burials
and where you go in the afterlife and burials.
Yeah.
So I guess it is peeking through because like Isaac would.
Because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, that's a very Isaac thing to do.
It is
And
a very
I was like,
Isaac
this isn't
thing to do,
Isaac.
right? You see this pile
This
of
is Bran.
bones and you're like, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when you all went through the fast travel, Vec disappeared. He did not come to this same location as you all.
Okay.
If you go to the pier to leave, that's where I'm going to pick back up.
Okay.
Okay.
So you see then Fudge Puppy over at the Fogger's hut, like digging with his hands into the ground, and then like putting the body in there, and then just kind of like patting a bunch of dirt over.
And
It's really not well done.
Misty kind of like swishes around in the dirt and then like extracts herself so it makes a pretty neat grave. And she's like, hey, sorry about the trying to kill you thing.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. The Fudge Puppy has died so many times. This is just one that's more memorable.
Is that why you look so scary and awful?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Misty, you are the Fun Pudgy's friend. The Fun Pudgy, the tamer of beasts, considers you an ally. What will you do now?
I'm probably just gonna stick to my dead mimics game.
That's a fun game.
Now I know that they die, and that kind of is funny.
Can the Fun Pudgy play?
Feel free to play anytime. There's a mimic right over there.
So I think we see him like kind of gallivant for a little bit, but then we
Frolic,
if you will.
if you will.
But then we kind of cut to the village at the pier.
Thank you.
Deuces.
All right, that's weird.
Village at the pier, and now that the Lich is dead, I imagine everyone's.
I was gonna say, what's Brian doing?
I was gonna say
Sorry.
like I was gonna talk to Missy real quick before we leave for the pier and say
Oh,
yeah.
are you at the funeral too?
I thought so, right?
Yeah,
I
I
would've-
figured you guys were just vibing
I figured we were
together.
together, right? Because he didn't show up to the
He's
castle.
burying
but
all
we
the
did.
skeletons and stuff.
Yeah. So I guess
Brand. The Fun Pudgy uses action. Would the brand like to say the words?
Like as we're standing over the graves.
yeah, yeah, and then I guess I like while Fudge was working on the Fogger's grave, I will have a mass grave and a mave, if you would, and on the tombstone I'll have it dedicated to the late princess who died in the boat crash.
Oh, did you guys tell everyone? Tell the people?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Unless we did. Unless you would have wanted to.
it's fine either way.
I think, honestly, I think Fudge Puppy was just too excited about human still being alive, so I don't think he would have said
Fair.
anything.
Because how I wanted to set up the mass grave is it would be to the late princess and all those lost with her. And that would be kind of ambiguous, but it would have kind of imply everything that's happened. But I also kind of don't want to paint the late princess in a bad light because of all the fucked up shit that happened around her birth. So that's the mass grave. That's the obviously there's the Fogger's grave, and Fudge will just say, I guess a few words because he's not Isaac, right? But he'll say, sometimes good people die before they should have, and we're left to pick up the pieces. And then with that, I'll look to Fudge and say, it won't be too long before another boat shows up. We should be on our way.
Wait, there's one more.
And he holds out like a piece of like a chunk that's probably still a little bit frozen, but you clearly see like part of Bella's face, like including her eye or something.
I need to do this for the best good boy all around. Would you care to come with?
I'd be honored, Fudge.
Fudge is not good with words.
All right. So Vec shows up at the like pier village before they do.
Okay.
What does he see?
He sees a deserted village
Okay.
with corpses in various states of decay all around. There's one wearing familiar clothes. You've seen him a few mornings after waking up behind the bar. He's just on the ground. It seems as if time stopped and everyone fell.
Okay. So
There's not a single alive person in the area, and you actually see signs around the area saying, like, as that on the outside says "Undead Beware," that you haven't seen before, but they're in plain sight.
So while they are taking their time cleaning up the throne room in that area, Vec is going to clear out and bury a little less ceremoniously these people. And then he is going to go behind the bar and he's going to look around and be like, no, I don't want to remember any of this. And he pops open a slot in the back of his head, and there's a red button. He presses it down, and his eyes go gray. And he starts to like jerk a little bit, and he goes into sleep mode.
Oh no, why am I tearing up?
That's wild. I didn't think you were gonna do that. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Jesus Christ.
Ah. Okay.
And that's in the tavern that we would always be at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And you guys are heading back to that.
To town, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we heading
Alright.
for the pier?
I think
the fast travel's in the town.
Okay.
It's not really at the pier.
Yeah, but we can. Yeah, but we're going to town and then heading to the pier from there.
Oh yeah.
so.
I guess
We
that's-
get to town, and then I think Fudge Puppy goes directly to Bella's house.
Okay.
Oh, when you guys get to town, you see just a mass grave similar to the one that you just made.
Mm-hmm.
A little more haphazardly made. And yeah. That's what you see when you get to the fast travel station. It's
And-
just kind of in the middle of town.
And the lights to the bar are on.
Yeah. It is approaching like
Evening.
dusk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Fudge Puppy goes directly to Bella's house. Kind of like sits there, like outside of like the property specifically. I imagine there's like a little picket fence around it or something. So he's sitting just kind of like outside of it, giving humans some pets.
What do you think, human. Should we burn it so that then others can rise from the ashes?
Looks over to human. Probably sees him licking his balls.
So his butthole this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A prophecy from you.
Yeah, he always does that when he doesn't know what to say because it's an awkward, like, really serious moment. He's very cat-like in that aspect.
It's fair.
I think what he does is he leaves, like, tells human to stay outside. He walks in and he just kind of like dumps out all of the Bella chunks into her home.
Okay.
And then pulls out a certain flask filled with lighter fluid and just sprays it all around the home. And then instead of striking his axe as he has normally done to light himself on fire, he instead like closes his eyes as then the mask just kind of like all the runes on it start to glow. And then he just kind of like starts to almost rub his hand along the wall as flame just erupts from there. And he just slowly walks out as the building just begins to erupt into flame. And he sits back down with human. And they just both sit there and watch it together.
So when this is kind of like a reading pass type deal, but when Fudge went to go to Bella's house, I imagine that Bran would have checked out the inn with the lights on. Okay. And
as you come in, Vec is wiping down the bar and like organizing things.
Hey, Vec, what are you doing here?
He kind of looks around. Well, hello there. Do I know you?
Yeah. You don't remember me?
Well, no, I was just activated. I am your verification of electronic currencies,
1,000.
and I keep this establishment, I think.
And I imagine Bran would like take a second and consider like everything that we've been through before speaking up, and he'll say, "Hey, can I show you something?"
Well, sure.
And you see Bran pull from his back pocket, and it's a picture of very young Bran, like he's like 18, 19, young. And it's a picture of him, and there's like a girl hanging on his shoulder, kissing him on the cheek. And you'll notice in this picture that Bran doesn't have any siren tattoos, but the female does. And he'll look at Vec and he'll say, "The anniversary of my marriage is coming up, and it's been a while since we've had a proper bartender to commemorate the occasion. Why don't you come with me? I'll pay you a little extra for your trouble. We will have to leave this island, though."
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but if that's what gets me paid, then...
It'll get you paid.
All right. Let's go a-lootin'.
And then I guess we'll step out the establishment and head for the pier and wait for Fudge.
And I think, they sit there and watch until, like, most of the existing structure has fallen down to where it's just, like, smaller flames of the building. And then he'll, like, look around.
It's dark out.
There's no action here, human. Perhaps we should go and see the Fun Pudgy's oldest friends.
And they make their way to the pier.
Okay. Excuse me. So, you guys make your way to the pier. the part that was exploded from the meteor has since been repaired. And there's another button.
Oh, human.
Although it doesn't glow in the dark, so it's not very noticeable.
Oh, okay. Fudge Puppy definitely doesn't see it then.
It's not nearly as enticing.
I do see it. I definitely avoid it.
Vec starts to walk over. What do you think this does?
Hey, I got a bad feeling about that.
He
but
reaches towards it, but
I
then...
wouldn't press that.
All right. Well, I trust you. You're the only person I know.
Yeah. I guess I am.
Not you're the only person I trust. You're literally the only person I've ever met.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if he's that other one's a person or not.
No, he is.
Oh, okay, good. He's kind of scary looking.
What about the one with the mask, though?
I thought he was the other one.
Well, there's also the four-legged one.
No, that one's
No,
not
I
a
was
person.
saying because,
okay.
human.
Yeah.
Because he's so...
Oh, Vec. I'm not scary.
Oh, everyone keep... I guess that's my name now. And yeah.
All right, so you guys wait.
Bren.
There's not really a ship coming right
Vec
now.
starts
But
skipping gold over the water.
Okay.
That makes sense. I'd do it too, honestly.
And I don't know how long you guys are going to wait, but around dawn, you do see a ship. To you two, not Vec,
Ooh.
that's familiar.
How long
The
did we
silhouette
wait?
of-
Approximately.
You waited all night until dawn.
Oof. Okay. I'm going to say Vec threw about 1,000 pieces of gold into the water.
Jesus
If
All
y'all,
night. He was
if y'all
just-
didn't stop me.
No, go for it.
All right. Sounds good.
And then you see a familiar silhouette of a ship.
Oh, hey guys, look, there.
You
There's
recognize
a ship over there.
the ship that belongs to Captain...
The captain.
The same ship we got
The
here
same
on.
ship we got here on.
I can't remember what the name
This thing- yeah.
Vance? Captain Lance?
I couldn't say.
Captain-
No, Captain Vance. 'Cause
Captain
it was
Vance.
from
It was
Blackbird.
Captain Vance, but
Yeah.
what was
Captain Lance, I think.
Yeah.
Captain Virus Cants?
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Virus can't.
Kyrus Vance. Yeah.
And then, you guys pop a signal thing. And so, a familiar face, a dwarf, comes over. Oh, so you guys are done here then?
I think maybe as that little buoy is coming out to come and collect us, Fudge Puppy is just gonna look over at Brand and Vec, but mostly Brand because Vec's been acting weird for some reason, and Fudge Puppy doesn't know why.
Fudge Puppy's been alone for a while. Fudge Puppy would like to continue with his friend.
I'd like you guys to get on this damn boat so I can get away from this island.
Oh,
You can do the chit chat on the way.
Okay.
You got 2 minutes, or I'm gonna leave.
2 minutes. The Fudge Puppy will do it in 2 seconds.
And I'll just grab a human and just try and leap on as quickly
What the hell
as
are you
humanly
bringing on this
possible.
boat? What is that? Oh, it's a skag. Okay, never mind. I forgot that skags were normal.
I guess I'll
Okay.
turn to my boys, TM,
Oh,
and I'll say, if I may make a selfish request, might we head back to my hometown first? And I'll kind of place a hand on his pocket where the picture is that Vex has seen now, but Fudge still hasn't seen it. And he'll just say to himself, "It's my anniversary tomorrow. My wife is going to be pissed that I'm going to be late."
Oof.
That sucks.
As Vec comes up the gangplank, he shakes the captain's hand. He's like, "Oh, hello! You're the third person I've ever met. Can I call you 3?"
Jesus.
Is it going to get you on the boat faster?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's going to be an easy one to remember. Don't have much room up in these databanks. Taps his head.
All right. And then you guys approach the ship.
And leave the island.
Yeah. Off into the sunrise.
God damn.
Oof.
Dude,
And you
fuck.
pass by all the gallows. You see them. Because weirdly enough, like the current's kind of drawing them a different way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you see all the nice dead bodies.
Sick.
And that's the last you see of the island. Well, you also see Queen's Rest.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not the only part.
And then you sail off into the sunrise.
Man, fuck this island.
Yeah. Never coming
Fair
back.
enough. Sorry.
No, it was really good.
I made the Lich such an asshole on accident.
Dude, it worked. I think it worked out well.
I think it worked out perfect.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
So good.
Dude,
But,
because
like-
the Lich was sitting there just fucking watching us like it was reality goddamn TV.
Literally.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
like,
the Lich
we
had
were-
just shy of
Ooh, ooh,
one,
ooh, ooh.
right? Like,
As you guys sail away, you hear the fluttering of wings.
oh my
Oh,
fucking
no,
God.
no, no! No!
Um,
God damn it. Dude,
I did-
fuck pixies.
fuck pixies.
I'm gonna carry this hate
Into every
into
game,
every-
yeah. Like,
Oh, pixies are the worst.
I did want to say really quick because I couldn't say it in character and make it make sense. I think, but just for like above table knowledge,
Yeah.
when Bran lost his boys, he also lost his wife, who was
Okay.
a siren, and it was the morning after she passed that he got the same siren tattoos that she had.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And,
so
well,
sad. I teared up. I teared up when you guys were like,
I showed up when he wiped his memories. I was like,
I
no,
was
not my
like,
boy.
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
I was like, not the one with like no backstory. No. And
But,
tearing up again thinking about it.
But every
So
year he visits.
That's why he has no backstory.
Because
Oh
he
my
just
God,
wipes it
'cause he keeps
whenever
wiping
he
it.
gets big sad.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That is really sad.
I was gonna say, every year on
backstory is
Brand's
the best.
anniversary, he visits his wife's grave to remember her and his boys. That's why he needs to get back
No.
home.
Okay, have you played Days Gone?
A bit of it, not much of it.
You've got it reminds me a lot of Days Gone because like one big theme of that
Oh,
is
yeah.
I
that
know he loses a lot of people, right? Because
yeah, like he's a biker, right? And zombies, whatever. But one thing that he does is
Zombies are
like
secondary.
he constantly goes back to his wife's gravestone because he is like 100% sure that his wife is dead.
Homie,
Oh, yeah.
I wish it was Days Gone, but he's got the tattoos.
Yeah. Having the tattoos, like
Maybe
'cause
another
the thing is,
siren
like,
died.
he never found her body,
yeah.
so he just kept
Also,
on going.
there's always
back.
like the hope. Yeah, but in Brand's
Well,
case,
not
he got
really.
the siren tattoos. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of gives me those vibes. But
No.
Yeah.
dude,
Stop talking.
sorry.
No, I'm sad. I'm like tearing up and not trying not to cry.
I actually developed that in the moment because when I said Brand has a wife, that was when I decided Brand had a wife. Right? So I was like,
good.
fuck, how am I going to make this make sense? Right? Like, because I
Yeah.
never brought it up before. I guess she's dead. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the answer.
yeah,
honestly.
literally.
You're
I'm
like
an
my
advent-
tragic backstory.
I'm a venturer. I can't have a nice, happy family back home.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
no.
why would I be
We
adventuring?
can't. No, we can't all be a Jeffrey Jefferson. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Dude, I
one
do
day
wanna
we'll
say-
introduce him.
That final boss was like very final boss encounter.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I'm glad.
I think I'm gonna throw it out there. Best final boss encounter
Yeah.
I think I have ever had.
I agree.
No,
Now I'm
I
gonna cry again.
dude, I literally
No.
and it was I think like yeah, it was amazing. I think it was amazing because you were like, well, these are my characters, right? Like the player characters. I'm gonna make a boss and they're just gonna fight. Like you didn't like I've seen like some DMs try too hard, right? When they have like a big boss or a final boss, or like, well, I want him to kill at least someone, right? So they pull out all these underhanded things to make sure they get at least one kill. Or if they don't want any other players to die, they make their kind of final boss kind of stupid so that none of the players die. But the whole time, it legitimately felt like everyone was at risk, right?
Yeah.
Like it
I
was
straight
like,
up, I wanted to kill one of you guys, but it just like I told you guys, like off mic, I was like, it just it wasn't in the cards, you know? I was like trying. I wasn't like gunning for any of you because I didn't want to be metagaming and be like, I know he only has this many hit points.
Yeah, and I think both me and Damien were one hit away.
There was one point
yeah.
where I had no shields and 17 HP.
Dude.
And I was like, if I get hit again, I'm gonna die.
We were all one hit away.
Yeah.
At
Oh my
that
God.
point.
Okay. So, all right, go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's
so
okay.
good.
No, thank you.
So when Bella, all right, I had 21 hit points.
Mhm.
Bella dropping would give me 40, and you did 60 damage.
Oh, shit.
Dude.
Oh, that's
And
why she was at
I was
one.
like, what the fuck?
That's insane.
But
And I considered, and this would have been kind of metagaming, I considered sacrificing human, but I was like, no, because like, for what? For what? I never, human wasn't really ever under her control, so that's why it would have been
human's always a
metagaming.
skag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
she was just kind of like, it was just like mostly an illusion that like human
But that's what I.
had passed out. So it was like, all right,
It was good though because it like was tugging at character. Because I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
hit almost every single one of our
Absolutely.
like emotional
Heartstrings.
weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right? Like you showed Fudge Puppy him back in the fucking pit when he had to like eat people to like live enough to get out of the pit.
Yeah,
You've
completely shattered Vec.
yeah, I
Rand saw
felt
his
really
boys
bad
and had to,
about
like,
that.
Yeah.
Be okay with the fact that his boys are gone.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Like fuck.
no, it
man,
was really good. And
That
it was-
is what I see though as like an actual like a real fucking
No,
villain.
absolutely,
It's
right.
like
And,
they have been following these fucking characters
they
for
know
a while.
you,
They
right?
know you.
Every
They
time
know what makes you
Rand
tick.
talked about his boys, like she would have heard that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oof.
yeah.
The pixies were watching you.
And I liked
all
it
the
because
time.
it was like you made a character, you made it strong, and you had to fight in what you felt like was the best sense, right? Not like weird because you were like, I'm gonna get at least one kill. And it felt fair, right? There were some
I
times where
thought I
like,
was gonna get one.
there were times where I was like,
You
Then I had to kill everyone, all of my allies off.
you were
Yeah.
fucking close on every single one of
and it was
us.
good too because it was like I had to heal people or they would die, and it was like if I didn't do that last
Yeah.
phase lock, that wasn't a phase lock but a phase lock, she still might have gotten a kill, right?
Oh my
So
god,
it was
yeah,
like-
she would have been able to kill at least one of you.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like,
So it was like-
because the cold. I'm so glad you got a kill too.
Me too,
It was like
right?
it was
Yeah.
the boss. 'Cause
but
you're,
it's
like,
cool because it's
support.
like you make a really difficult boss, but you reward your players for playing like the best they can in a
Yeah.
sense. And even like, dude, even Fudge Puppy, like if he kept burning himself, he probably would have just killed himself, right?
Yeah.
And that made it hard because it was like, well, me, like, do I phase log, do I do damage, or do I just try to heal people? It was really fun. It felt balanced. Like even the parts that were like hard, like the illusion part, still felt balanced, right? Like nothing felt unfair outright, right? Like
Yeah.
it was like, and even and dude, like the battle plus like the emotional cinematic piece. Oh, dude, it was a really good final encounter.
Yeah.
I feel
Like don't get me wrong, once the whole like illusion thing of like the different hands or like baseball bat or whatever like reaching out, like I was getting a little bit frustrated just because I looked down at my character sheet and I was like, I'm about to fucking die.
Yeah.
dude, I thought what you thought, and then when I was drowning, I looked down, and that's when my shields were depleted, and I was like,
I ended
I
with
can't
2
drink a
mayhem
potion.
points,
Yup.
but nothing. Like in my brain, nothing could have. There's nothing I could have done to avoid her getting killed. I could have maybe killed one of you if I was metagaming about it and was like, I'm gonna kill a human.
No, I think that you did
but like,
perfectly
I'm happy with
this.
how it ended.
Yeah.
I think I like it too.
It ended really well.
Because it's like it's kind of wild because it's like it's a story in which the big bad was killed, but the old king and the queen is also dead, and you have these heirs that are infants, and like these characters will probably never see that come to fruition, right? Like we don't know. Like I like it because it's left up to the inhabitants of the village, right? Like the noble village will take care of the babies, and then from there rebuild, right? But it's also like, dude, it sucks, right? Like Vec isn't gonna remember any of it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're nuts,
Yep.
and
Honestly, Brand's the only one
who's gonna
like,
live
left
with
to-
that like yeah, I killed a lot of innocent people while I was there. Yeah, right.
I just realized that. Like, yeah, you're
dude,
gonna
like,
have to live with
it's awful.
all of that.
And it's like when his boys and his wife passed away, like he swore to protect people, and it's like he kind of did it, right? Like now the village can start anew. But he also killed a lot of innocent people to do that. So it's like, fuck, man. Like,
Ooh.
no, I thought it was really good, and I feel dumb for not guessing it ever, right? But I really liked it from start to end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I am proud of myself of the whole, because part of why I wanted to do the sacrificial, like, to get health thing was to show her desperation.
Yeah.
And I think I did that okay.
No, it is really
absolutely.
good.
And I considered giving her last words when, like, she dropped Bella. But I was like, no, she just doesn't need them. She's made it clear what she's about at this point.
I really liked it
Yeah.
too because
And it
in a
just-
lot of games, you're like, well, how are they feeling? But you didn't have to ask, right? Because if you're,
We were feeling.
if your big bad is at the point where
Yes.
they're like, well, I'm going to kill one of my homies so I have more health. You're like, okay, they're getting desperate, right?
Yep.
I like that.
I was kind of trying to show you guys with that too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's
And-
close, bro.
And I like that a lot better than just like
She's looking rough.
she's looking
Yeah,
rough,
no,
which
it's really
is something that I really rely on a lot with a lot
Yeah.
of my games.
No, I
It's
would have,
like-
and I would have too, right? Like, I think it's a really cool way to like kind of point out that there are other ways you can show desperation
Yes.
besides just saying she looks like she's like at a quarter health. Like, you know,
I just wanted to pat myself on the back for that because it's like,
no,
proud.
it was honestly
awesome.
really fucking good, and I think
Yeah.
more DMs
Great
should do
mechanic.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm very
Like,
okay with how I mean, there's been some rough patches, but I'm very okay with how I've accomplished this final boss interaction.
I think you did a really good job overall, and not even
Because
just on a
that's
boss,
the-
but with the
like I
story in
said,
general.
it's the
Yeah.
only thing I've planned.
Especially, I do want to give a shout out to Gary. I forgot he
Yeah.
existed, and then you're like, "Well, there's Gary with the fucking homies." I was like, "What?"
Gary was originally supposed to be that big bad.
Oh shit!
All right, okay, I want to explain something.
Yeah, go
Pop
for
off.
The
it.
liar, the lich,
And the wardrobe.
and the autophobe.
Oh,
Okay.
The liar, it's all the same person.
I have a question, and no one flame me for this. What is an autophobe? I know that's the title.
Someone's
Like,
scared of being alone
oh, okay. Oh,
by themselves.
Oh my god,
That's why she was like, "Oh, now I have all my friends."
that's awful. But like
Yeah.
in a cool way.
So she's the liar
She's a lich.
because almost everything you fucking seen is an illusion.
Yeah.
She's the lich for obvious reasons, and she's the autophobe because while
makes
she
sense.
is trying to destroy everything that her father has created, or not created, but like held dear, because the kingdom means more to him than anything.
Yeah.
He killed his own daughter and wife
But she keeps bringing people
to
back.
make an heir, to get
Yeah.
the chance at having an heir. And so she was like, all she really wanted was companionship and love, because
and that's
obviously she didn't get that from her father. The only one she got it from was her mother, and her mother died. She watched her mother die essentially in front of her.
and that's why she made us the offer, I imagine, because
Yeah,
She wanted
because she
homies.
wanted friends.
Yeah.
She's made the same offer to a lot of people, like the Tanuki and the Giant,
damn,
and they either
that sucks.
fought her and lost, or just accepted the offer.
Can I ask, what would have happened if we accepted the offer? Would we still be alive, or would she have killed us and we would be zombies with her?
You would have not replaced, but you would have definitely been there to greet other Vault Hunters. You would have been Gary.
Mm.
Your powers
Oh,
would have been
shit.
used.
Ooh.
You know what that makes me think of? And I thought of this
Because
when...
that's what happened to Gary. He was a Vault Hunter.
Oh, and he said, yeah.
He said, yeah.
Oh,
my God.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
It reminds me,
okay.
I don't know if you ever played the game. Probably not. I don't think any of you have. But there's this game called Dragon's Dogma. Heavy spoilers for Dragon's Dogma. But, like, really heavy. Like mute my voice for, like, 20 seconds. But at the end of the game, you fight the god of the realm, right? And if you beat him... Well, okay. Mute my voice for 30 more seconds. At the beginning of the game, your
Don't
hometown
hear
is
that,
attacked
you're
by a
muted.
dragon, right?
Okay.
And then blah, 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 gameplay. At the end of the game, you fight the god of the realm, right? If you lose to the god of the realm, you become a dragon, and you get set down to attack your home village, right? Which is what was attacked by a dragon when you started the game. If you win, sick, you are now the god of the realm. And if you do a second playthrough, you get back to that point. You're fighting your previous character in Dragons. Like your previous save is that guy.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's what I thought of when I thought of like.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's super sick. It's
I
a
love
super
games
good game.
that do shit like that.
But it's super.
Oh,
nuts.
I liked it too because it was like I like because there's a
Spoilers
whole
over.
Yeah, well, a little. Well, no, this is a gameplay mechanic.
It's still spoilers.
Fuck you! It's an old game. Like if you haven't played it,
It's your fault. You know what?
You
Go
climb
play it.
on because like a lot of the enemies that you fight are so fucking massive. Like there's a whole mechanic about you climbing onto an enemy and then just like
literally,
fucking stabbing the shit out of them.
Okay.
And like that's
Dragon's
a
Dogma,
part
like,
of the game.
If you haven't played it, it's a really good fucking game. Like you should play it. Not
I'll
sponsored,
give you
by the way.
words of encouragement. You're gonna do great on that game.
Yeah, but
You're welcome.
I thought about that as we were like coming to the end game and like seeing all of our friends, because there are parts where you see like the adventurers like you've hung out with on the way, and yeah, dude, I just think it's really good storytelling. I think you incorporated it really well, because not only were you like Lamau, they were zombies the whole time, but now they're zombies that you have feelings attached to, and they're dying.
You want secrets?
Yes.
Yeah.
If the giant didn't die, he was going to be on your side.
Oh,
son
I was
of a
going to
bitch.
find a reason.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
you know who I feel bad for too? I feel bad for Misty, man. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like existing,
going
and then-
on collecting mimics now, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it is her favorite game. Yeah. I forgot that Misty was just a weirdo.
I was like, I guess we can tattoo a mist, right? Like,
Yeah.
The calico cat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm not going to lie, thought of that day of.
yeah,
The doctor was an afterthought.
okay.
That's
the
why
doctor was
that's
an
fair.
afterthought. What a good afterthought.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
He
I was
was
like, how can I
creepy.
He was
explain
creepy.
this?
He was good.
And then
Yeah.
he ended up taking up like 1.5 episodes.
That monkey is still like running out
Just
there.
running
yeah,
around.
oh yeah. The
Yeah.
monkey is roaming free.
Hanging out with Misty.
Oh, what about the fun pudgy, the Tamer of Beasts cult?
The cult, the ones that were around, the monkey have been slaughtered.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to come back.
You
to
the
still
cult's
have
dead.
followers. You do still have followers on this
just
island.
not those ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, you don't
If we
got
ever come
toe
back to
chopper.
this game, I hope we do like a time skip type deal, and I can play as one of the twins, right? Like,
I want
I
to
ho-
play
I
as
want-
the cult.
Honestly, I would
true.
love to.
I
would
want
love
the
to do
best
that.
for them. Like, they've been through so much, and they're like what 3? Like,
They're 1.5.
oh my god, yeah, I want the best for them, bro.
Oh,
Like,
so I'm sorry. When you were like, when you had that dream, and then her hand was fine, but her hand was gross, and then it was fine. It was supposed to be like that was the sea hag's hand, like the grotesque version, but like then you saw through the eyes of the babies
and
who
the baby
had
sees the
marks,
normal, yeah,
Yeah.
and they see the normal like
That's what I
gray,
thought.
but still like not horrifying.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
where's the sea hag now?
Still
She's
hagging
just-
it up.
She's in the sea, right?
And like in the sea north of Queen's Rest.
Waiting for the next shipwrecked victim to accept.
Yeah,
it.
she's
Accept her
seen
power.
like the princess isn't like the only person who's been offered this. I mean, she's just north of the gallows. She's had her fair share of dead bodies approach, but the princess had the most anger
Yeah,
and actually accepted because she was beat by her father for being born a girl, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a hard life.
No, I felt bad. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was. That's what I love about her too. It's because like you feel bad for her, but you're also like, bro, you're being a dick.
yeah, but it's like it makes sense, right? Like if I was
Yeah,
you,
it's a
I'd be
good
pissed
character.
too. Like I went out to sea literally to die. My mom died. My dad sent us to die.
And it's literally because I was born wrong.
Exclusively because
Yeah.
I was born a girl. Yeah, I'd be pissed
Yeah,
too.
like they tried for another, but it just didn't work out. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
it's,
it was big sad.
it's so
it's
rough because
fucked.
I feel like I know we didn't explore like the continent, like obviously every square, But it's like you have the noble village, which was relatively safe. We killed a fuck ton of other people.
Like,
so it's like
fucking.
I feel like it's like the noble village and Misty and random crazy psycho cultists, right?
Some
that's
people
about
are gonna remember you guys as like the villains.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite
Yep.
any sort of
I mean, anyone who was in that church hates us.
Yup.
Yeah, dude. And
they're
Yeah.
terrified.
I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much is because it's like there's so much nuance to it that if you're not one of the two party members that remember everything, or what's her name, dude? Lindsay, you don't know who the heroes are, right? Because the average person who wasn't involved at all just know that the castle was being attacked. It's not being attacked anymore, and we have 2 infant heirs.
Yeah.
If you're one of the people who was at the church, you know that these zombies, one of them looking like a really handsome Bramwick shoots a lot, fucked up a bunch of people with a robot and a psycho, and then moved on.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're Lindsay, you probably know you're like the only one who knows the nuance that isn't one of the characters, right? Because like we didn't stop to explain everything that had happened. We explained it to Lindsay and maybe like half of it to one of her servants, and then we left. So it's like for a lot of people, you're either finally dead or we're just the assholes, right?
You guys didn't really get much credit.
We got paid though.
Yeah, we did.
News was just the undead siege was over.
Yeah.
And repairs are being made.
And someone's gonna stand in until like the 2 infants are of age.
Yeah.
Right?
Like someone from the Gray family, like the
I feel like I like that about it, right? Because it is very like neutral ever after. Right? Like there's the hope that everything will be okay. But a lot of the problems that weren't the Sea Hag are still there, right? Like you still have psychos, you still have like basically just one village that's okay.
Four-armed gorillas.
And, but like also the Sea Hag is still fucking there.
Yeah,
right?
also
like,
she's still there, right? Like if you die in the sea and you're really pissed, it could happen again.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I want to say this. Outside of the noble village, everyone you interacted with that seemed alive and normal
was a zombie.
Was not.
Yeah.
Including
dude, that means the entire Death Watcher village.
The entire Death Keeper population.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Son
they were
they
actually
know
the first ones to get.
Oh my god.
Because they were around so much dead, the dead got to them. You know how it be.
Yeah, zombies.
Fuck, man.
And they were easy victims of the illusion of like, oh shit, you need to get rid of the undead. Because that's kind of their whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
what a good setup. I don't want to go after you because that's really good.
Sorry.
I'm gonna pale in comparison.
I'm really happy with how this turned out. I was a little worried. I was very nervous.
I think you did a really, really good job.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm actually pretty proud of myself.
you should be.
Not to
It
toot
was
my
really
own
good.
horn.
And it was
Really
always
well.
fun to play through. Even the parts that like the fig farmers, right? And the thing, even that stuff was really fun. Like even the stuff that wasn't very plot like heavy was all like it was always really fun to play.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you should like it was really fun. You should feel really proud of
I'm
yourself.
like even if there were some like less fun parts to play, this was my first campaign. I mean, I think I did okay.
No, dude, I'm not
Oh,
just saying
real
this because I'm
well.
your friend.
Yeah.
Like you did a really good
was
job.
nervous the entire time, and I was like, "Wow, I'm doing horribly the entire time." But like now that it's over, I'm like, "All right." I mean, I'm proud. I
You
made
pat
this whole
yourself on the
story.
back. You're the shit, bro.
I made this whole story from like literally the inspiration of like, oh, you show up on a dock or at a dock. That's
And you hit a button
the
and a meteor hits.
inspiration that I took from the book. Because I was like, I'm gonna do the campaign they have in the book, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna make it not that.
No,
and
that's
then I made
fucking
it something that
stupid.
wasn't that at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I the red button was just because I was like, I want to try out the death mechanic.
I think,
Yeah.
dude, I think it was a
It was
really good way
great.
to do it.
It was.
And then I made a whole aspect of your personality. I did feel bad about that. I didn't mean to like force that.
No, I
No.
thought it was really
It
cool.
was great.
Yeah.
I think too, it's really fun. I don't think enough players have to play with a trait that they don't want, right?
Yeah.
Because you're building your character, right? You're like, well, I'm gonna play him like this, and I feel like it's a really good thing to like. It teaches you how to play weaknesses when you have a trait forced upon you, right?
It betters you as a role player.
Ah,
Honestly,
that's what I think.
It's
I
something
agree.
that you didn't choose, but like you.
But if
gotta
you play
roll with
to it, then you're like, okay, well, like now it's like extra that I can incorporate.
Like Lady Blackbird, for instance, you're just handed
Another
a
good
fucking
example.
character sheet,
Yeah.
and then that's what you need to roll with, and like having that kind of forced upon you just makes it so that then you have to force yourself to be a little bit better of a role player.
Yeah, and obviously
Yeah.
you don't have to do these things to be a good, decent role
Oh,
player.
absolutely.
But if you
Yeah.
if you want to try to like get out of your comfort
challenge.
zone, I think having traits or characters that are given to you that you play to is a really good way to like kind of flex the muscles a bit.
Yeah, and like traumas and things forced
Yeah.
upon you. Like, yeah,
Suffering,
so
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Speaking of the mechanics of the game,
Okay, yeah,
yes,
it is a little weird to me
it's very video gamey.
it is. That's
Yeah.
a good way to describe it.
because even the anything but a 1 is gonna hit.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
the weirdest
That's even
thing I
video
think.
gamey because you shoot, you hit, but like it deals varying amounts of damage.
And
Yeah.
that was the hardest to get used to. Is like just
Yeah.
knowing that I'm probably
I know.
gonna hit and I'm probably gonna be hit all
Yeah.
the time. It was like
Yeah.
a different thing to consider.
Yeah, I started rolling my damage dice with my like if I'm gonna hit die, just because I was like, I want to
I don't
see everything at once.
I don't know how many times I rolled my damage die and I was like, shit, I gotta,
You almost forget
I
about
got
it.
a
right? 'Cause you know
three.
you're at
There's
least
Does
definitely
that
been
hit?
times when
Yeah.
I've lost damage because I didn't
roll,
roll first.
and you could have rolled more damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then I like it felt like I was cheating rolling after the fact, after rolling damage, because I was like, oh shit, I gotta see if I get extra damage, and I was like, whatever, I'll just do the damage I rolled as long as I don't roll in 1.
It's
Yeah.
interesting though, like balance wise, because in like games like D&D and Pathfinder, where you're like, okay, I have my armor class, and my armor class is so high, I can reliably count on most enemies missing.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're like, okay, most enemies are probably gonna hit, so I either need potion, a good shield, or a trick, right, to make myself live, or I just need to kill them first. And I know I'm gonna kill them first because I also hit most of the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was a very interesting dynamic, but I do like it in the sense that in D, like it makes sense, like training wise, right? Like if you're a vault hunter and you've been vault hunting for a while, you're probably gonna land your shots.
Yeah.
Right, whereas in D&D, you can be a level 10 adventurer and still miss a fuck ton if you're fighting a boss
Okay.
with a good AC.
I have an argument there.
Okay.
Okay. So this game is mostly based around the idea that you are shooting guns.
Yeah.
Now, when you are shooting guns, and if you have shot guns a lot previously, guess what? You're going to be a lot better at aiming. Which, compared to something like Pathfinder or D&D, when you are rolling to see if you hit, you have to understand, especially in melee, right? You are not
Yep.
rolling to see, oh, I make one swing. Do I hit with that one swing? No. Keep in mind that this is an action movie in medieval times. You are like fucking hitting people's swords, multiple times.
Parrying.
And literally you are rolling to see if you have an opportunity to deal a striking blow
That's fair.
rather than just actually hitting, which is something that I've been like for a while there. I have not taken into account all that often, but I have started trying to a lot more of, hey, this is literally just a representation of an engagement, right?
I think
If
that's
you're in
A
melee
lot
with
can
someone,
happen
you're
in 6 seconds.
I think
Exactly.
that comes back to kind of what we talked about last episode too, of flavor, because there's a difference between saying like you roll to hit and you miss,
yeah,
and saying like, hey, you like with your greatsword you land a like what would be a very powerful blow, but the big bad sidesteps at the last moment and strikes you with the palm of a sword, knocking you on your back, right? Like, or whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah.
right? But like you can spruce it up so like it can still show your character's prowess and the enemy's prowess, right?
Yeah.
yeah. But like coming into this kind of a game, it's hard for me.
Yes, yeah.
because
I feel like this is a better beginner game.
Yeah.
almost.
I think it's a
I
very
would-
good game if you want to get in and hit shit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
honestly, if you're here for the violence and the
Yeah.
story more than anything, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Not that like other game, like obviously fucking Pathfinder and like
Mm-hmm.
D&D 5e have fucking stories, but like Sorry about the random, like, excessive cursing.
Fuck.
Yeah. Boobs. That's not cursing. Sorry.
Got 'em.
I don't I fucked up. Hey, there it is. But like it is a nice it's a little more laid back and like you get to just hit shit. You get to do the murder hobo thing. And it's encouraged. It's not
I think
punished.
The book helps a lot in that sense. Because in Pathfinder and D&D, you're like, hey, here's the game you're playing, here's the rules. But in the, Borderlands TTRPG book, it very much lends itself to like, hey, here's the rules, kind of, but also fuck them, right?
Yeah,
Like, do whatever you want.
Do what you want.
Literally in the book, it's like, hey, you can do the book, you can do the rule. Like, here's rules, but like,
yeah, and
do it
I guess
how you want to do it. Like,
to be fair,
it tells you to do it however you want to do it, and I really took that to heart. Sorry.
Yeah.
For anyone who's playing by the book, but I've had it's a lot of fun that way. I'm like of the opinion that I like systems to be flexible. If they're not, that's fine. I also enjoy playing more inflexible systems because rules are nice.
yeah, and I think
It
that's
leaves
good
less up to interpretation.
because Pathfinder and D&D say the same thing, right? They're like, oh, you're the DM, like take what you want and leave what you don't.
That's why homebrew's a thing.
But the way like the Borderlands book is written really lends itself to that, right? Like you remember
Yes.
the whole time you're reading it that you can do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah.
Wherein in like Pathfinder and
Badass
D&D, it's kind of like an afterthought, but in Borderlands, you're like, yo, fuck this rule.
Yeah,
You're literally.
With like other games, it's a play style. It's like a GM decision to
We have
like
homebrewed this.
Yeah,
But
and
in
it's
Borderlands,
like-
it's like, no, it's a mechanic that I just
Not-
made up right now.
yeah, like badass moves. It allows you. It's a
Literally anything, right?
yeah.
Like,
You can like when we were like, hey, let's phase lock, but move it. And I know I was a little hesitant because like that's not a skill. If it were a skill though, I would probably say no. That's
Yeah.
the
Right.
thing. Is like.
because you have to just use
But
the
it
skill,
allows
right?
you
Yeah.
to use your imagination in such a way that you're like, hey, this would be pretty sick. It's within the realm of possibility, kind of, but not really. But also, this is a game.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I-
This is a
And it
game
allows
that
you to use your creativity.
Yeah, this is a game that I'm gonna recommend to my little brothers because they play a lot of video games,
Yeah.
and when they talk about their D&D game with me, it seems very murder hobo-y and very like bunkers and badass feeling. Like they have a fish with a baby head and legs, and it's super creepy. And he's talked to me
Your
about
brother
it
and
all
his
the
group
time.
are weird. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
it.
that's like one of the
I don't
player
know what's
characters.
wrong with
Holy
your brother,
shit.
Yeah.
but tell him to get therapy.
Oh,
but
yeah,
also
I've
recommend
told
the
him.
Today's
game.
sponsor is BetterHelp. Oh, no, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
I wish. I love. I've never used BetterHelp. I don't know why I said I love them.
I use it for
I
like,
love
a few weeks, whatever.
therapy.
Therapy's great.
Therapy.
It is. It's good. But yeah, like for that sort of video game-y crowd, I feel like this is a perfect game, especially with the shield mechanic. I want to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
I love how that makes you feel invincible until the second it cracks.
Yeah.
And then you're
Right?
like, oh
And
no.
like, my health.
I think too,
Yeah.
and we didn't do it a lot, but it really sets yourself up for because your shield breaking is like a visible thing,
Yes.
right? So you could have other player characters notice that one player character's shield broke and kind of like protect him so he can get shield regen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
I
like-
didn't know if it was supposed to be a visible thing, but like, I don't know. In my mind, it's a magical thing in this realm, at least, and like,
Yeah. And
it's
like,
gonna have a visual effect. Like you see,
Well, you
that
can
it's not
tell when you're
working
hitting
anymore.
shields and when you're hitting
Exactly, because you're not
non-shield in the
stabbing
game,
someone.
right? Like, yeah, exactly.
yeah. And when mine like broke, it would
Yeah.
like
It
had
zap
an effect,
people. Like
yeah.
that's definitely
Also-
like visible. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Another
figured you.
shout out to what is it?
AMV88.
AMV88. Thank you so much. Also, it was really cool to see how much your whole thing, like your generator improved over time, like the pictures and everything, and like the whole format.
Oh, I
I
didn't
loved it.
realize that.
Yeah,
he was
it
updating
changed
it
over
like
time. Yeah,
while we were
So-
playing. Sweet.
yeah. Like I can't think of what exactly. I'm not gonna lie because I've been drinking, but it's definitely improved, and I love it. Like there's red text, prefix. There's a lot of different
It was quite the
options.
boon, if I recall right. As
Yeah.
I've been playing.
Oh
yeah.
my god. And I'm sorry, I forgot about loot these last few sessions.
No, I think
No,
we did too.
you're
We've been
fine,
so
yeah.
And
No,
I know
I think
that's
it's
a big
fine,
I think
especially
we
for-
focused a little too much on it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we had good loot every time anything died.
Yeah, we
for
did.
a while.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
we
the
mind.
last loot you got was like 6 grenades, and I was like, whatever.
I mean, it got to the point where
upset.
we were just trying to sell loot, right? Because we
Yeah.
had
I'm
so
gonna
much
say
shit.
it. I'm a little upset none of you used, or whoever had it,
The rock paper
none of
scissors
you
question.
used the fancy grenade.
Which one?
Grenade that gets you a gun. Or maybe you did.
That's me. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Riley. I'm so sorry. We're not a very grenade-y.
We're
Well,
not.
I just don't like the idea of sacrificing my 3d8 plus 4 twice.
I'll be honest, that's also
So-
partially my fault because I was like, let me give them some fucking sick relics.
We were
Well,
cracked.
I think that's cool
Yeah.
because you shoot your monks, right? Like, and that's like a theory I heard. I don't remember
What?
where I heard it. Shoot your monks, right? Like, it's a theory in D&D 5e in particular because you get deflect missile, right? As a monk, I think at 3rd level,
Okay.
where you can deflect projectiles, take a portion of the damage. If you roll high enough, you can catch the projectile and throw it back at the attacker.
Yeah, dealing
Okay.
an amount of damage
The
to the
problem
attacker.
is a lot of DMs, once their monks get this ability, will just stop
Stop
shooting
shooting
projectials at their
monks.
monks, right?
Okay,
And you're like,
yeah.
well, that
Really?
sucks. I got the thing. I want to do the cool thing,
Yeah.
which is where the concept of shoot your monks comes in, right?
Okay.
That's so
I think
sad.
that's cool. In in this campaign, we all got to do our cool shit, right? And
Yeah.
that was really cool, right? Like, boys got to do a fuck ton of damage. I got to heal a bunch. I got to phase lock. Like, everyone felt like they were doing stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's sick. Like, that's what people want in the game. And like the fact that the DM can let them feel cool and still have like problematic enemies is like a sign of a good DM to me. Right?
Sometimes I felt
Yeah.
like I was a little too like generous with you guys,
No.
but I'm
I-
happy with the result.
Yeah, I think given that we are doing a shorter game of this, then
It's
like for instance,
I didn't take
our
this too serious. I took
our
it
friends
seriously, but-
our friends over at Friend and Foe Adventure Co. They are trying to run this for the long haul.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it makes sense that they might not try and give out legendary weapons a whole bunch, right?
Yeah.
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 Like
They should
they
be
want
pretty
to
rare. Yeah.
kind of like sprinkle it along their extended campaign.
Yeah.
So I think
You should
it's-
go listen to Friend and Foe Adventure Co.
Yeah, they're still sick. You're still stinky or whatever. But not them, you guys. But,
Okay. Sorry,
criticisms.
I have criticisms.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I-
Can I start off?
You're God still.
Okay.
I am so sorry. The layout of this book, bro. The design stresses me out. It might just be a me thing, but it's just not really the best layout for when you're trying to create a character or run a campaign. That being said, I love overall the vibe of this book. It's great. I love it. I love this game. I've had so much fun doing this. And once I figured it out, it was fine, but I had to use like little tabs to give me. It might just be my brain is dumb.
No.
Too dumb for this book.
Don't let them gaslight you.
No, it's okay.
them.
So reading this book is hilarious. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Because
funny.
they have like a lot of Tina's little snippets all throughout
Yeah.
this whole thing, which is it is very
It's
funny,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
But when you come down to the point of like generating a new weapon, for instance, there's a lot of tables involved
Oh,
with that,
yeah.
a lot of different kinds of rolling,
Yep.
and it is very taxing on a GM, which
It
is
is.
why someone like, I don't know, AMV88 making
out
that
again.
making that loot generator is so fucking clutch, because I feel like this game would have done a lot better if they came out with an app.
Literally doing
Yeah.
God's work.
Oh, by the way,
Like a-
MV88 is in reference to the Reddit user MV88, AMVI88.
Yes.
He made
They
a loot generator that has been life-saving. Like,
Because yeah,
it
exactly.
saved me literal hours upon hours of loot generating because we have a small amount of time to do this, and I don't want to spend hours on prep for a game where I just really want to have fun and tell a story with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's been a real boon. And it would have been nice as a thing to, like, you
Like
know,
just
with,
inherently.
yeah, inherently there. But, like, shout out to that. Shout out to Amphi88 because, like, thank you again.
You're the man.
So much.
And I think a lot of games these days, like I think this was a complaint that we had with Fallout, for instance, was like
Loot.
But loot for sure, but it's like make an application companion to go with your book, because this will help to.
It goes such a long way. I feel like.
It goes a huge
Yeah.
way. Like I would gladly spend
I would literally
10
pay for it.
goddamn dollars for this fucking app,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that then I don't have to roll on a whole bunch of different tables by hand to try and generate this kind of weapon card. Instead, having something that
It's
this
just totally randomized instantly.
instantly,
Yeah.
it just makes it
It's
a lot
awesome.
quicker,
Rolling?
a lot easier.
At first was fun. But it, like, kind of lost its luster over time, and it was kind of a chore when we got to, like, higher badass rank stuff. And so I had, instead of rolling like 1 to 2 loot piles per thing, it was more than that. And then I'd have a lot of enemies, and I guess you could put that on me for, instead of having like higher level enemies but like less of them.
Well, that's
But it's like, it's not the vibe that I was going for.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain
absolutely.
it. Like, when you're getting swarmed by things, it creates a different kind of stress than like,
yeah, it's a cool
here's
dynamic.
a giant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
There's 2 giants. Those are all the enemies, right? Like you want like, yeah, and that kind of like brings me to my point. Is like I feel like kind of like Joseph said, this game is a really. I feel like it's a really good first game for players, but the DM is gonna be under a lot of stress, right?
Yeah.
Because like there are so many things that are kind of like fuck it, wing it. If you don't know what vibe you're going for as a DM, it can be kind of overwhelming, right?
So, okay,
there's
so
some things we gotta
speaking
have
of vibe,
answers for too.
yeah. So, but like speaking of vibe, right? The reading through the book, it is comedy. Okay,
Yeah.
Reading through, seeing all of like Tina's little injections and everything, it's comedy.
It's funny.
And I need to applaud you. I love my muse, my flame, because you managed to actually bring like emotion into this game that is almost by the book designed for
The lulz.
comedy, just for the lulls. You have a fucking potion in there where, oh no, you're gonna die unless you do 100 push-ups, lol. Or, oh no, you have to do rock, paper, scissors with like the GM in
I
order
never
to
used
see
that,
if you
by
do
the way. I
something
still
that
have
actually
that. I
works.
wish
Or
I
like
used it.
you have to ask.
Or my trauma where I became horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I gotta compliment you guys though. You guys definitely made it, because you're such good role players. You made it
Stop.
a lot easier to make it emotional. Cause like, yes, I can have like the funny moments. We can do that with any game, literally any game. And I know that this is centered around that a lot. And I haven't read through the game, like the actual like play things, but it sounds like it's all not really a meme, but kind of in general.
Yeah, over the top in a
The
mean
vibe
way.
is-
yeah.
Kind of a meme, which is not a bad thing. It is not. But like, especially towards the end with like Vec and Brand, and like, I know we make fun of Brand for like the boys or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, when you actually like think about it, and like he lost his wife, or like Vec, he fucking wipes his memory. You guys make it really easy. I think it's our play group that made it easy to, because
We do
there's a
have the
lot of
best
play
play
groups
group.
that, again, they'd be super murder hobo-y, which
Which is fine if that's your like your
is
deal,
fine.
right?
I
Yeah.
don't have any issue with
if
that.
everyone's down with it,
Like,
you do you.
I would
Everyone kill
argue
everyone.
Fudge Puppy's a little murder hobo-y,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which
which
I
is
do.
part
I
of
do.
his personality.
Yeah, I
though.
want.
Yeah.
I want to like
It makes
throw
sense.
this out here also. Like, I'm sorry if I steamrolled things, or
Dude,
if
I will
like,
No,
punch you in
it
the
was
face.
great.
I think you did literally the perfect balance.
And I
of-
appreciate
I'll-
you leading the way a little bit sometimes.
You
I
had
was
such a
like,
good job of like,
"Ah."
I'm psycho. First of all, it's like I'm like getting a peek behind a psycho. Like the backstory was nuts, right? Like
Yeah.
having to eat your own soldiers to live. Holy shit, right? But like gameplay wise, I think you did such a good balance of yeah, fuck it, I'm psycho, and also like I also want to progress the story. I think you found that perfect middle ground.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, my biggest worry, right, is I didn't want to go into that whole thing of like, oh, this is what my character would do, because I
applaud you for
think
that. That's
I
so
am,
shitty.
well, it is
always
shitty,
but
right?
it
But
can
it's
be abused.
right, like
Yes.
as a new player, that is something that a lot of new players will kind of crutch on, which it's a new player kind of a thing, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to recognize when you are starting to interfere with all of the other players, when you're starting to interfere with the story and everything. And I have never been a character, I don't think I have at least been a character that has been so like his character personality is,
Oh, I'm just gonna fucking kill everything.
and still having to try and like progress the story without stepping on Vex's toes, without stepping on Brand's toes, without stepping on Stevie's toes with all of the NPCs. So I just want to say, I would just want to apologize ahead of time. Just
No,
being
you
like,
literally
hey, I'm
have
sorry
nothing to
if I-
apologize
You really
for.
don't.
Not really ahead of time. It's
It would be after
yeah,
the fact.
After the
Literally
fact.
after
I
the
just
fact.
want to say sorry.
No, you did nothing wrong.
no,
I
no,
think
no. Character development is a thing. You started out a lot more murder hobo than you ended up.
I think you're right. Like a lot of players fall into that trap, and like there's a lot of talks, right? Of like, well, design a character that has some reason to get along with your party, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, they just wouldn't be there. Like your character just wouldn't be there. But I also like too like the peaks at Fudge Puppy getting like more like he had moments of like almost sobriety, right? Where it was like,
Yes.
especially at the end, where he was like. Yeah, just like every time he was reminded of his past, he was a little more clear, right? And he would like have these things, and especially at the end where he was like, "Hey, like I don't have any friends. I want to travel with you." I think even if he goes on to be a psycho like he is, that speaks volumes, right? For like,
I also really liked your connection with Human the Skag. Because it felt very natural and it felt very like, I have PTSD and this is now my support animal. And they understand me because we don't have to talk. We just vibe together. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it made total sense for the psycho character. And yeah, I really liked it.
And I also think that like Human found some comfort in because like Human in a way knew that something was off with Bella, but Bella was Bella.
Yeah.
Like Bella smelled like Bella. Bella mostly acted like Bella, but Human was able to find new companionship and like immediately clicked with Fudge Puppy, and so it was kind of a healing thing for both of you.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was, and you guys might have not known that. Well, you guys definitely didn't know that from the beginning, but that's kind of what it was supposed to be.
yeah, and I think part of the reason I liked it too, at least from us, is because it's like, dude, it felt natural, right? Like everybody at first was just like, yeah, whatever, we'll vault hunters on a job, and then it was like, oh, well, if Fudge doesn't like you, then we don't like you either, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know he's nuts, but like, he has a hell of an instinct, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it felt cool, right? Like, it was like a slow, like, and even Human, right? Like, Human's like just somebody else's skag, but at some point we were like, no, like, that's Human, like, fuck off, like, and
Human doesn't like you. I don't like you.
yeah, literally, and it was the same with Fudge, right? I was like, well, he has a cult following and he tames beasts. So if he has a problem with you, you're probably a shitty dude.
Yeah. The animals trust him.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Oh, and dude, fucking Vec, like the whole time I was just sitting there just like, why in the fuck is he collecting so much goddamn money? Because I knew
was rich.
like off the start, like you were just like, oh, well, I've got an amount.
well, dude, a lot of us were
I've
like,
got-
at least me early on, I was like, yeah, I don't care too much about money. So Vec was like, I do. And then he would just take the excess.
Yeah.
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 You really
So
did, didn't you? You're
I
like,
did.
From episode like
Oh,
one, he was like,
does not you Fudge Puppy? You don't want that money? I'll take it.
I got it. Yeah. So I had not played Borderlands before we started. I
Yeah.
played most of Borderlands 1 while we were recording. And And so I wanted a character that didn't know what he was getting into. And so from the beginning, the plan was Vec got reset either on the ship or when the meteor hit. And I wasn't quite sure when that happened, but he was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm hanging out with these guys. This is my thing, I guess. And we're all vault hunters, so I guess I'm looking for loot. And I think deep in his programming somewhere, he is like a bartender. His thing is to collect loot, right?
Oh,
is
no.
to collect money from people for the establishment. And so that was showing up in his programming, but he wasn't quite sure what was going on.
That's so nuts to me too, because it's like Vec's so useful, and it begs the question, like,
So did like from the beginning then, did you have like this whole idea that like Vec's memory was just wiped and he was just kind of going with the flow?
well, I was gonna say that's cool and bittersweet, right? Because Vec was like super useful, but it begs the question: was he super useful because he had been through other adventures and just chose to forget about them, but like his body retains like the fight experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, it makes me really sad.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and just the fucking ending. Like, my God. Like, the moment that you're just like, presses the red button, I was like, no!
It's almost like bittersweet
was
too,
so
because
sad.
then he goes on, like, he meets like the person on the boat, and he goes like, oh, you're the third person I ever met. And it's like, we still have like a weird closeness to Vec because we're the first two people he's ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, man. Like, no, we're not, but we are. Like, I don't know, man. It's really
Maybe you were the first two people that he's ever met.
It's really complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, and the hope is that like, yeah, like as we go on, like maybe he'll stop doing that. But there's a world, right, where like we leave, we mourn my wife, and then we go on another adventure. And at the end of that, he goes, hey, who are you? And we just do this dance every time.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, and Fudge and Brand just accept it, right? Because that's their friend, even if he doesn't know it. So it's like so complex. I feel like the characters. In this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how he turned out.
I
Yeah.
am too.
Yeah.
I like all your characters.
I think it was really cool because like inherently they have nothing tying them together.
Yeah, we are very different
Yeah.
characters.
Isn't that kind of how Vault Hunters are, though?
That's
Yeah.
that's what I like about it. Is that, like you don't give a shit about each other.
I
And
am
at the end
man.
of this adventure, you're like, that's my guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I am man with a bird.
We
Be
are
my
now
friend, Siren.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
are now Brand's boys.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. You're the boy.
and
now.
I like that too because like at the end, like near the end of the campaign, it got to the point where I was like saying my boys, referring to you too, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I've grown since then.
I
Now I have
appreciated
these
that.
people I
Yeah.
can
Yeah, it was good.
I can rely on, right? Like so, it's like it's hard for Brand too, right? Because it's like, well, last time we had boys, they died.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was,
Same.
I really like these
Did
characters.
you have your boys dead before the trauma?
I did. That's the reason Brand travels is because he wants to spare other people that pain, right? Like cliche, I know,
Yeah.
but
I honestly couldn't remember if you got too far into your backstory in the beginning.
I don't know if I
I feel like
did.
we had our whole interaction on the episode 0, though, so probably not.
Probably not too
but-
much, but that is why he travels, right? Because he feels like he owes it to them because he was like the one that made it out alive, and like he doesn't want the idea of them looking down on him, who like was the one who made it out alive, to just like kind of fuck off, like she like shames him, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm the one who made it out. I'm gonna help as many people as I can.
Yeah, that's
right?
survivor's guilt.
Especially with his wife, right? Like now he has these powers, so he's like, survivor's guilt. Like I have to help people now.
yeah.
And that's what it was at first, but now he's just like, it's generally just what he wants to do now. So that's what he does. And that's why he travels, right? So like help as many people as he can, essentially.
Cool.
That way when he eventually passes and sees his boys, he can see them with pride, right? Like be like, hey, this is what I did with the life you gave me, type
Yeah.
deal.
Because you have a soul.
Because so do you.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
Dude,
I
Greg
felt
doesn't
so
even care anymore.
bad.
He forgot everything.
Yeah.
Because when he was like, oh, do I have a soul? I was like, well, yeah, sure, a little bit.
Yeah, whatever.
I was like, that shit's a lie. In my mind, I was like, I know that's not true. And then I didn't think
And
about
then I
it.
just grabbed onto it
Yeah,
so tight.
I didn't
Yeah.
think that you were going to do that. I thought you were going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you have a soul. And move on.
Yeah, then
Nope.
we're at
But
church
nope.
suddenly.
Yeah.
I should have known because I was like, yeah, here's the beaded soul snatcher.
And then he's like, let's go to church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was rough when I had to be like, because when I was like making notes and planning out, I was like, I gotta be like, hey, lol, you thought you had a soul, but
Yep.
I'm an asshole.
Oof. No,
I-
it was good.
It was really good.
I really liked it.
But like the character's an asshole, so she's an asshole, like
Yeah.
mentally kind of a teenager.
Yeah.
I will say too, another complaint I had, because I feel like we've just been like, there's a lot of compliments to go around. I feel like the system's really fun.
Time to rag on it.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, fuck
Um,
this game. Just kidding.
One thing I did kind of have a problem with, we reached level, what level were we really at? 5, 6?
5.
5.
It felt like a lot of the campaign, it felt like we grew in strength and ability because Stevie, you gave us like relics and items, right? Which is, I guess, valid. But it's rough in the sense that it doesn't feel like brand grew. Like my modifiers didn't change much. My overall health didn't change much. It was mostly new weapons, new relics.
I'll
right?
be honest.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel when I play Borderlands, though, because you find
You find super dope gear, right?
quality weapon and you use it for like
The rest
5
of the
levels.
game. Yeah.
And you're like, bro, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it is really
Yeah.
cool.
And it is kind of the same kind of system.
Absolutely. And I guess it
It's
does make
just
sense
weird
in the
as an
context
RPG.
of this game. It just sucks because it's like, it sucks in the context, I guess, of like, well, Brian come to this island, had this whole adventure, and barely grew from it. Like, just got a really cool gun. Like,
Yeah.
I will say, and I wanted to plan it this way, but I didn't want to be like, you get XP, just like left and right. I didn't want to overdo it. After level 6, I think you really start to pop off. Like you get the next level weapons, you get certain skills that you can do or whatever.
Yeah, but
I should know more about this, but I don't because I never planned on you guys going past level 6.
in Pathfinder, I pop off at level 3. You know what I'm saying?
But also,
Yeah.
like, it's wild that we got to level 5. And there's so much more.
It is nuts,
Yeah.
right? Because we felt decently strong.
You didn't even get out of, like, the first bracket of levels, and you were still wildly strong.
We like weren't even full through like the second tier of ability skills.
The Lich
Yeah.
started out with 200 hit points
Really?
and had
Damn,
to
you guys
start
did
killing the giant off and then everyone else.
Thank
Probably
God.
gained
Yeah.
another, like, almost 200 in hit points.
Thank God for
After.
them. They do damage.
Yeah, and to back up your thing, like I don't feel like my character grew very much, right? As far as like what's on the sheet.
Yeah.
My health went up a good bit because
Every
of-
level.
I was an enforcer.
Yeah.
And I got a couple buffs to my melee damage, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Right. And coming from D&D and Pathfinder, every level you're like, oh, I get like 3
dude,
new
like,
spells
From 1 to 5, like you can feel the growth from level
Yes.
1 to level
Oh, yeah.
5, right? And
Yeah.
in this game, it's like
Not so
HP
much.
is the biggest difference,
Yeah.
right? Like beyond that, you're like, I'm kind of the same guy.
Yeah.
I have a rebuttal.
Okay.
First,
All right.
For some reason. So, as the Fudge Puppy,
Tamer of Beasts.
Tamer of Beasts, my first 3 levels, I was going directly into this whole inflamed condition, adding an extra d6 worth of damage on any like inflamed kind of thing. Now, it does not have as big of a splash as something like Pathfinder or D&D, where you have like a whole new thing that you get to do
Yeah.
with like all these crazy things, while also still increasing all of like the base abilities that you've been getting up,
And
all up
9
until the
skill
point.
points.
9
and-
skill points and
yeah.
all this other crazy stuff. Like,
Now you have a bear.
yeah, now you have a bear for some fucking reason. But like
Sorry,
with this,
badger.
it is really like the first 3 levels. It was just like, oh, now I get to roll 2d6 rather than 1d6, and now I
Yeah.
get to roll 3d6 rather than 1d6, which is a little bit lame. But I did feel a little bit of progression as, at least for my character,
That's
as
fair.
he grew.
I felt like a P the entire game until Stevie gave me a buff, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if there's like some optimization thing I was missing for like the supportive sirens, but it was like quite frankly, if Stevie didn't give me that damage buff to healing, I think you still would have died.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, it's like
definitely.
it felt
For sure.
stupid, right? Because I was like, he's shooting out 30 damage per hit. This guy's doing like 16 to 20 plus burn damage, and I'm healing them for like 4 plus, like 1d4 plus my mastery mod per hit, which is 1. Like,
Yeah.
I'm healing for
How's that?
maximum 5 per shot. Like, I was like, I'm just not relevant, right? Like, besides my phase lock, which is like nuts.
Yeah,
The phase lock
literally
is nuts.
Face lock is nuts. I
Yeah,
love it.
that is another point that okay. So turning back to the negative here.
Yeah, get his ass.
So
Yeah.
I felt as though my character, and I'm assuming you as well, Vec, like I didn't really give a shit about what gun I had because
Yeah.
I was all about
You're gonna fuck him up.
I was gonna fuck him up by cutting him with my fucking buzz axe, and I'm sure.
Yeah. I tried using the rocket launcher a couple times,
And you said
and
fuck that.
yeah, like I was not dealing as much
Yeah, early on
damage
you
with
did
a
it
rocket.
a decent bit, and then you just stopped at some point
Yeah.
because it was more worth it for you to just hit people.
Yeah.
So like okay, my Danger Ranger. It's
Get
a
'em.
shotgun, right? If I roll accuracy wise a 2 to a 7, I get 1 hit. 8 to 15, I get 2 hits. 16 plus, I get 1 hit and 1 crit. It does a D8 plus my damage mod.
Steve
Yeah.
has her hands up.
Whereas my Berserk Rage, I do 3d8 plus 3, like right off the fucking bat. Why on earth? And I get 2 attacks with it without giving any mayhem or anything. Why would I do anything different?
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at the guns on the chart and looking at like your skills and stuff. For one, it depends on the class
Yes.
and the archetype, whatever. Yeah. And I think you guys took 2 very melee centric ones.
Yes. 100% agree.
You pop off after level 6. You just do. 1 to 6, it's like very skill based.
The prologue type beat.
Think about when you play Borderlands. Aren't the first several levels of guns just the worst, shittiest guns?
I am going to have to argue with that.
Get her.
Because when I'm playing Borderlands, even if we go all the way back to Borderlands 1, in which I was playing as Lilith, the Siren,
I love Lilith the Siren.
I would almost every single fucking opportunity possible, I would do the phase walk where I just fucking explode
Yes, you use your action
around.
skill all the time. But
all
like,
the goddamn time.
you guys, again, pick 2 classes that base a lot off of your melee damage. I think it's just a personal, like, the choices you made. I think that if you were, I don't know, a gunzerker, you probably would have done a lot more gun damage.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
But here's my personal complaint as someone who really likes to play support characters is the gauge is like, am I as a support as useful as one of the damage dealers, right? Like if he can,
Yeah.
if he's doing 30 damage per turn and I'm lucky if I heal for 10, then I would have been better off just making another damage dealer, right? Like,
Yeah.
like numbers wise, it'd be more efficient because the best damage prevention is damage removal, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what sucks for me. And that's what something I really appreciate about you is like giving me the healing buff because it made a world of it. Like then I felt useful, right? Beyond just my phase lock. And again, comparing it to Pathfinder and D&D because those were like the most popular TTRPGs. Like Isaac, my Pathfinder cleric, is useful.
Yeah,
right?
like
He has
channel positive
he has channel positive
energy.
energy. He has so many tools. Like that's even beyond the spells he has to give other utility to the party.
Yes.
But Ran literally, like, he had to pick, right? Like, do I want to do damage to an enemy or do I want to heal one of my allies? Or do I want to phase lock an
Face lock,
enemy?
yeah.
And it's like, it just doesn't feel as useful when instead of doing more damage, I heal Fudge for 6.
Yeah, and the phase lock was really cool. Like,
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
took
Oh,
someone out of the
God.
fight immediately.
Sometimes completely, right? Because
Yeah.
like phase lock, he dies while he's in there, and it's like sick. He did no damage.
Yeah.
That's super useful, and that's the one thing I do.
Yes.
Right. Like,
And like,
and when other people are getting 2 to 3 attacks per turn, each attack doing like 20 to 30 damage,
But it's
just hard to feel relevant.
yeah,
But
because
you
you've
gave
already
them
used
that
your one thing.
opportunity. You've negated that much damage.
Yeah.
I
But
would.
it's hard to visualize that. It's hard to like put
Well,
that.
see, even then, like even if you want, like even if that enemy would have done 15 damage per turn, Vec does that in a hit, and he gets 3 hits per turn, right? Like if I was just a carbon copy of Vec, I am more useful than I am one phase lock dummy, right?
Yeah, but that's my fault for having lame ass enemies.
Well, no, I would like to run through this game at some point where none of us are melee characters.
All sirens.
We could be all sirens, or
It's like
we
when
could
you play
have like
5e,
a
but you're all
siren,
clerics.
a hunter, and like a
I
fucking
want to play an
soldier or something.
assassin.
I do
Or
think
an
this game is worth
assassin.
another shot.
I would love
like
it.
mid-level.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mid-level, and without playing as like melee
Melee.
junkies. Like
Yep.
I was
When we
actually
did the
talking
crossover,
to
they were doing a decent amount of damage.
I was talking to Stevie actually about like if Fudge Puppy dies, when we still had the Brew U, right?
Mhm.
About like coming back as like his former self.
I was thinking about it
Okay.
if
So
I
that
died,
then-
switching because I felt useless, right?
Sorry,
I
Yeah,
think
I
there's a
would
lot
kill
of
you.
value in like your lower level, like you should feel balanced with your allies, right?
Yes.
I think even if you pop off post 6, you as a support character should still feel like a support character, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like I'll be honest, I felt like Vec and I were kind of stepping on each other's toes because we were both just like fucking crazy damage dealers.
Yep.
So I felt like I want to try out a different aspect of this game, but Fudge Puppy's just fucking god tier and just never died, so there was never a reason
You're
for him to. And honestly, it was
Also,
because of
You're
because of
welcome.
Brand.
I think that's one of the reasons I like Isaac so much, and like we keep talking about Pathfinder. I know we don't play it like on the recording, so
it's a great
Lamau,
game.
sorry.
You don't know that, but like
We have a lot of fun playing Pathfinder, but Isaac, my Pathfinder cleric, like it gets to the point where I'm like people are like, "Oh God, please heal me!" Right? Like it will literally make the difference.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
like
like,
I can,
fix
in good
me.
conscience, heal, knowing that I'm keeping someone in the fight who's gonna do a fuck ton of damage. But with Brand, it's like, oh well, if I heal this guy, I realistically don't even know if I'm keeping in the fight because I could heal him for like 4,
Yeah.
and then he'll still die, right? And that's just a waste of my turn, right? Or I could phase lock the boss who can't be phase locked and maybe do good, like and do that. That is like my most reliable damage source if he can't be phase locked. Otherwise, I just get my gun that pews, right? Like, yeah, it just feels rough being a support character early on. I'm sure it pops off later. Like looking at the skills, it's like those are really
Yeah.
cool skills. I'm level 5 right now, and I don't feel relevant, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Okay, some other things that I think about this game. I agree with you guys about this game is perfect for new players or for any instance in which you want to be a murder hobo
you go
because
kill guys.
this is very designed for that. Like a lot of the Tina potions are, just fucking
They're
ridiculous or wild or
Yeah.
comedic. Just fucking throw them in there.
Like-
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, do you want to read off some of these things?
Yeah. I don't need this screen. I have no secrets.
I'm so glad none of us died really quick. I really thought all of us were gonna die.
Yeah.
I thought,
thought
at
at
least
least
one of
2.
you was gonna die
were
without
so
me
close.
even trying, but you gotta dance. You can't stop dancing for 10 minutes when
Holy
taking
shit.
movement actions. Specifically describe what 6 steps you put down. Sorry, I've been drinking.
Oh, you're good.
But like,
Sorry,
It was
said it
fucking
dumb.
funny.
that's an
Or-
example of, or yeah, go ahead.
Big booty potion. Makes the booty girl 300%.
Oh
Too
shit!
juicy. I die. Have fun making up an effect for this BM.
Like it's pretty funny, right? And it's
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a very I think the best term that I've heard for it is like it's a very beer and pretzels kind of a thing.
Yep.
Where you're
true.
just hanging out, you're just fucking
pretzels.
beer and pretzels,
Me too.
just playing a game, and like, oh, my character's got like a huge ass now,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine, right? Like I don't want to
It's not bad.
discount
definitely.
that. That's fine. I like
yeah.
doing that every now and then, especially after like really heavy sessions.
Mhm.
Like I want to, just fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Excuse me.
I feel like I like mechanics a lot.
Yeah.
I like the prospect of not necessarily hitting a character.
Yep.
I really, really enjoy that. And I don't necessarily like the whole, if you roll a natural one, that's the only way that you're going to miss. Otherwise, you're going to hit. And that's a personal preference on my end. Like, I understand that in the Borderlands parlance, right? Really, you're only going to miss on a
Good
natural one.
verbiage. Parlance.
But like I think that missing adds a unique element.
A certain
to it.
flair, right? I agree.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Get him.
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
I recall a session where we were fighting something.
Yeah, the displacer.
They
cat.
were missing. We were missing.
Displacer Fox,
It-
by the way.
Oh my bad.
Really just kind of turned out to not be very fun.
Fair.
But at that same, the GM could also be like, hey, I want to be like, whatever. They can make a decision after, like, I don't know, say like 3 rounds of that happening. And I get that, like, whatever, yes, they're parrying. That's how normal fighting would be. But as a role player, that's boring as hell because you're just sad. You're like, they're not hitting, I'm not hitting. Literally, even if I imagine the parrying and stuff, nothing's happening.
At
We're
some
not
point, you want
progressing.
someone to get
it's
fucked
a waste
up.
of time.
Yeah.
That you
I
can't really anticipate because you don't know people's rules.
have 2 points, if I may. Are you talking about the displacer fox that we fought?
Yeah, yeah.
So to be fair, that's a rough spot for the DM, right? Because on one hand, you're like, well, I have this useful spell for my enemy. The players have answers, and if I never give the players a chance to use those answers, what reasons do they have to prepare those spells, right? Like Misty and I both have access to Dispel in Pathfinder. Neither one of us prepared it, and because neither one of us had it, he was able to get away with that, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, if Damien doesn't do that, why do I ever take the spell if it's never relevant, right?
Yeah. And if Damien doesn't use the displacer beast or
Fox, whatever.
in the way that it's supposed to be, then
I'm never
what's
gonna think
the point of having the
the
displacer,
spell, right? Like, yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
And also, I think this game is really, really, really good for one shots, right?
Yes.
Like you
Oh, yeah.
make a
Or
character
short term.
or
Yeah,
short term, right?
It's a
You
palate
make-
cleanser.
You make a mid-level character, and you're like, hey, like, get the boys over. No one has plans tonight. Let's just play a game for a few hours. Like, you drink and talk shit and do
Yeah.
damage.
Yep.
Like, if I was gonna do that, this would be the game I would pick. right?
Definitely.
Like, even if I wanted like a light plot, like this is definitely like not a long. Like, you can make it long term. Obviously, we played
Yeah,
it for a
I
good
would-
amount of time.
I would argue that one shot, I don't know if I would agree with that.
Nah.
However, short term campaigns,
Mhm.
absolutely, 100%. Like if you're saying like, hey, let's get together once a month and let's, do Bunkers and Badasses for like 6 months. 6 sessions, Bunkers and Badasses,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely,
It can be
100%.
yeah. Especially if you just played something heavier like Curse of Strahd or
I
like
really want to play Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
Or Mork Borg, that'll
Or-
be rlicing next week.
what up?
Yeah, tune in. Or
Spoiler.
whatever.
Nice anti-palate cleanser.
We need to stop
Yeah.
giving content for free.
Right?
I don't know. I think it's a good 1 or 2 shot only because it's like I feel like Borderlands gives you the invitation to fuck off. Like you
Yeah.
do the 1 shot or 2 shot, you lose. You are the brew you, and you're like, fuck that, and you leave, right? And everyone's fucked, right? Because you left.
Yeah.
Whereas in every other game, it's like I guess you could still do the
No.
same thing, but your characters die, and it's like, wham.
I understand. My campaign went on 17 sessions too long. Is what I'm hearing, Wesley.
No, I like what we did. But if I had to pick a campaign for a 1 shot out of
Oh
all
my
the
God,
games we
no.
played, I feel like all the other games we played lend themselves towards longer campaigns, and if I had to pick one for a one shot,
this would be easy.
it'd be this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to make into a one shot, right?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
because it's like I feel like there are just so
Go
many
fight
outs,
the skag nest.
literally, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't care if you want to lose, you brew you and you leave.
Yep.
Or even if you have it be like the intermittent kind of a game. So like it can be a continuous story, sure, but it's like, hey, so so-and-so comes up to you and they're like, hey, we've got a bunch of skags that are like really terrorizing the town. Let's go ahead and deal with them. And then that's your like one shot for like this year or
Especially
something.
if-
And then like you go back into your normal kind of a stuff, but whenever you need another palate cleanser, you pick
You come
those
back to this
up, and
game.
that's
Yeah,
perfectly
especially if
fine.
you have like a good night for your one shot. Like if you're gonna have like a 3 to 5 hour one shot, I feel like this is a really good game for it because like then you're not interested. Like maybe that's not fair. I'm sure other people are, but it's like you're less interested in character growth and development, and you just want to see strong people do wacky shit when you play this game, right? Whereas in
that's what
Pathfinder-
it's really good at is wacky shit.
yeah, and in Pathfinder, I am really invested in seeing my characters and the other player characters grow, both in strength and like as people. And I feel like this game really lends itself to I have this guy. He's really like he's a vault hunter. He's been around. I want to see him fuck shit up. I feel like that sets up for a really good one shot.
Yeah. I think it started off also real goofy in the beginning.
Yeah, we all
we
died.
did.
And then it definitely took a dark turn,
Yeah, right?
which was planned from the beginning, but I was like, wow, I should like tamper it down a bit with the goofiness, and I just didn't. And then it was like, surprise, here's sadness.
I'm gonna remember
Well,
that
I
church
think
for the rest
all
of
of
my
us
life.
did.
Yeah.
I think
the
all
church
of us
was
did
definitely
that.
the turning point.
Yeah, it was like, oh, look at these zombies. Let's kill them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's necessarily an element of this game. I think that's just an element of your storytelling.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
really well.
I was just like,
Yep.
but it made it easy to like start off goofy, and because of the nature of the game, you guys were like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
used to
then
be
I
your
was like-
mom's vibrator.
yeah.
I laugh
Right.
at that line every now and again. I just remember that you said that.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
And then I was just like, but the whole time I was like, wow, how am I gonna transition into?
I can't wait to tell them they were
my
all alive once upon
story.
a time.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
actual story because it's a little fucked up.
It's a little darker.
Yeah, it's like because I had this idea for a long time, and then I was like, wow, I haven't really been like gearing towards that. So yeah, I guess it is more of a storytelling thing, but I'm glad I was able to make it
It was really good.
darker.
I just realized I'm going to have to retire Vex dice, and I really like
They're
his
so cute.
dice.
I feel bad.
Just
I never
use
got
them.
Yeah.
brand dice. I've gotten dice for every other character.
Oh,
I've played.
really?
Not brand.
Oh.
Wow.
But I guess he's just gonna
Wow.
go home to his wife and then.
I'm gonna be recycling dice because I really like these
These
dice.
shiny
Yeah.
metal
They're
ones.
pretty.
I don't need to get dice for the next game we play, or maybe I do because I'm gonna be the DM.
You'll be the
You
DM.
absolutely need to get some DM.
Yeah, I'll get some
Yeah.
god dice.
I have something though, so
You're
I
pregnant.
want to talk about.
When were you gonna tell me?
Sorry, guys. I want to talk about elements of this game that I think can transfer over to other games
Mhm.
because I think that that's very, very important. For instance, if we talk about like Fallout, for instance, I like the whole success with consequences kinds of things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Really kind of fleshes out that like, yeah, your character can still do things even if they don't meet a certain DC. But there's going to be an issue that arises with that,
Yeah.
or like a Blades in the Dark really does
A complication.
well with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this game, badass action.
Yep, I was about
can't
to say
agree
the same
more.
thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
literally, I had the same thing in mind.
Like, I really enjoyed the idea of I want to do something fucking weird. Right?
Wild.
So, for instance, let's take this whole ordeal, right? I want Brand to use his
phase lock.
action skill, phase lock thing, in a way that just doesn't mechanically make sense. I want him to like fucking phase lock me, launch me across the goddamn room so that then I can hit this goddamn Lich.
Yup.
And go for it.
Sorry, and I feel like if we were playing something like Pathfinder, there are so many rules that you would start flipping through or like Googling, and you would find, oh yes, if you're moving at this speed, at this,
Yeah, if the
direction,
if train A leaves the
Yeah.
station at.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like there is a way to do it, and it's so complicated that the DM doesn't want to let you do it, right? And I feel like the badass actions were a great, like, I want a shortcut.
But let's
not worry about the rules, but
stretch reality a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I like it too because it also like it rewards like because even badass actions are in the realm of reality,
Yes.
right? Like you're not asking to summon the god cat of Neko, but it's like
that fucking calico cat.
but you take what you players can do normally, you sacrifice future turns, and based on all of that, your DM sets a difficulty, right?
Yeah.
So you're like,
So, for instance, like the thing that comes to mind for me, right, is I'm a Pathfinder fucking fighter or whatever, and then there's a paladin in front of me. And I'm like, hey, I want to go ahead and run and jump, and then have the paladin like launch me up on his shield, so that then I can like swing down for a little bit of extra damage. Like,
yeah.
okay, mechanically, doesn't fucking happen, right? But narratively, makes a lot of sense. Okay, paladin, go ahead and roll a strength check, and then okay, guy, go ahead and roll your fucking acrobatics check, and then like, you know, I'm gonna set the DC to like fucking 25 or 30 or something, and then see if it fucking happens. If it happens, awesome. Go ahead and give him some extra fucking damage. Like let creativity reign.
I like
supreme.
it too because it gives you more answers to what your players see, right? I'm reminded of this scene in Ruby, favorite anime of all time, by the way. But there's this scene where they're in a battle arena and there's a sniper in the trees, right? And she's about to shoot at one of their friends that is climbing up like a mountain. And so two of the characters, like she jumps on his shields and he pushes her up, right? And you could argue that you can do that in Pathfinder with like strength or whatever, but it's like given the example, like given the situation you're in, you don't always have time to do things like that.
Yeah.
In time to respond to what you see.
And with Pathfinder, you've got
can't
all
make
those
spider-
numbers, right?
Yeah, literally.
You
like,
look at it and it's like, okay, well, you're this strong. That means you can lift this much. And like, that would take 10 minutes for you all to
but you could
figure
just
out.
be like, no, I see this is about to happen. Like, we both see that this is about to happen.
Mhm.
We want to respond to it now, right?
Yes.
And I think badass actions are like a really good way to be like, okay, try this thing. You could fuck it up immensely, or you could do it really well, right?
It's just the wild shit you want to do as an RPer.
Yeah,
role
you're playing
player.
fictional characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to do
But
cool things.
It's oftentimes you feel a little inhibited because of the rules, because of the numbers, like Joseph was talking about.
And don't get me wrong, buddy, I fucking
love
love
the numbers.
mechanics.
right? We are all mathletes, right?
No, we're all nerds here.
Literal mathlete.
we
Not
love to
brag,
open the book and be
second
like,
place in the ad hoc team thing. Washington.
Oh, I
State.
didn't realize you.
No, I have a polo.
Really?
It's-
Oh,
yeah,
that's
hey,
awesome.
check the Instagram for the polo.
Mathletes. No, because it has my school name on it.
Oh, that's fair. Lamau, don't check the Instagram.
But like it's got and what like mathletes I made it to state, and then I got paired with a pretty great team for ad hoc,
Yeah.
and we did the team problems and we got second place.
Holy
crazy.
shit, that's badass.
And we all met because we had nerd jobs.
Yeah,
we did.
Lamau,
Yeah.
you fucking nerds.
Not me,
Who
though.
does
Yeah.
that?
Like, so we like the math, but
Just try to
sometimes
not
we
have a
just wanna
job
be
like me.
badasses.
That being said, when it comes to incorporating badass actions to your game, definitely balance it to your players and your DM, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
obligated to let everything through, right?
Mhm.
And that's another reason I like badass actions is because the DM sets a difficulty prior to rolling.
Yes.
You make it, you don't, and you decide if you want to take that risk.
I think
right?
I was a little too lenient with you guys with sometimes, but also
I appreciate it though.
I
Why?
honestly would agree too. I think
thought
that
so,
you could have.
yeah.
my ultimate
Raced it.
goal for this was to have fun though. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like at times I was like, wow, I really wish I hadn't have been that lenient. But then I thought about it and was like, we're just having fun. That's that kind of the vibe. I mean, like towards the end, and it might not have seemed like it.
No, I appreciate that. And it's nice too because, and this is like a player fault on our part, but like in the beginning, we really didn't badass action at all. And I think it's because we come from like more rule heavy games
Yeah.
where
Yep.
we were like,
It's a
this is what you can do.
different
This
system.
Yeah.
is very defined. And do what you can do. Whereas badass actions are like, yeah, wing it with your homies and maybe it'll happen, right? Like,
Yeah. And
Just make shit up.
yeah, literally.
part of it was like we were learning the rules still at the beginning,
Yeah.
but all of us were kind of tied to, oh man, like
This is what I can do.
can I do this action? And then we got to the point where like, oh yeah, like I can make it up too.
Which is, I think, is a skill that ties into other TTRPGs, because I think a lot of times, like, dude, even if the DM makes a situation in which you can use the environment, you can use NPCs, you have all these things at your disposal, you are so hyper focused on like, well, this is my character and this is what it does.
Yep.
Here's the skills I have.
Yeah, that you don't use the changing terrain or the building or whatever the fuck is in your environment to your advantage, and or your teammates, right? Like they have skills that you don't have that you can flex to like get extra potential. I think Badass Actions is a really good way to introduce that concept because you can support each other, right? So like with Fudge was like, well, Brand can make fucking little pockets of phase. I'm gonna fly, right? Like, and that sounds really simple, but it's like that can happen. Like literally, there are like infinite possibilities once you start like combining skills and environment. Like,
Yes.
you can do whatever you want, right?
And that's what's great about RPGs in general is we have created this together. Let's build on top of that, right? There aren't any limits. There aren't there isn't like programming that gets in the way because you hit the edge of the map, right?
Yeah, right. Like I render the map, right?
Yes.
Like
I am the map.
I am the map. Call me.
Also,
the map.
I'm proud of myself
Yeah.
for having a map.
Yeah, amazing. By the way, like
Yeah.
I wish that I guess with my Fallout game, I didn't really have to make a map because it came with a
The
map.
map existed already.
Dude, every
Yeah.
game we've done, it's been so good. I'm so nervous.
All right.
You'll be good.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's about, like, did you guys have any
Any
other
final
story
thoughts
questions?
about the game?
All right.
I'm
so,
happy to answer any story questions you have.
the doctor was he
Right.
just thrown in there because of the calico cat, and you needed like an
Yeah, I
explanation?
needed an explanation for the calico cat, and I needed to stall.
Oh, the pixies. The pixies were all under the Lich's control.
They weren't necessarily under the Lich's control,
That's a
Liches,
good
yeah.
question.
but they were in alliance.
With the Lich.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
hate that.
All right, let me put it this way. The pixies have always been a friend to the royals.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
makes a lot
And
of sense.
Lich or not,
It's the
she
surveillance
is of
state.
royal blood.
Okay. Yeah,
Are
surveillance state for sure.
one of the only intelligible people of royal blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Makes sense.
All right. Final thoughts on this whole thing. All right. Story. Fucking incredible.
yeah,
of
quality
Yeah.
great. Whoever thought of it,
Bee's
Mwah.
knees.
The game itself, I think, is a very, very fun game. It's a perfect palate cleanser, and I think it is very good to try and introduce new players and also introduce players to thinking outside of just core
Yes.
mechanics.
I think it's great for development. I think it's good even for experienced players to like kind of develop as role players.
Yeah.
I totally
It really
agree.
encourages you
Even
to,
as the
like,
GM, I feel like I've grown.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen more options.
Yeah. And it's nice to just scratch the murder hobo itch, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. This is the first game that we've played, and I've been like, I want to buy this for my little brothers, right? Because again, they are very video game heavy, and they don't listen to this, losers.
Wow.
Idiots.
So
I bet
Keys.
you aren't very stinky at
they're
all.
not gonna know
Oh,
what
true. They
they're
probably smell like
Nice.
roses
yeah.
or something. So yeah, I think I'm gonna grab this for Christmas for them. But yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do a long-term campaign. Kind of because it is so much. It's so many good things all at once, right? It feels like eating sweets as we play this game. I get to
Yeah.
kill everything. I get so much loot. Dopamine's hitting. But I like the slower burn games, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of excited to move on to Shadows of Asterin and other slower burn games.
Yeah. But I am kind of excited to see how the Friend and Foes game
that
goes
stuff
because
goes?
they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
the longer route with it. And,
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too. I think Vault Hunter is the perfect like story reason to have player characters that don't get along.
Yeah.
Right? Like 'cause in D&D and a lot of tabletop
money.
RPGs, you're like, well, I'm like an evil line character. The rest of the party is good. How do I like get in cahoots without stepping on the toes of my other players?
Yep.
But in this game, no one gives a shit where you came from, right? You're all on a job essentially most of the time, and it's like you could use that money
honestly.
to raise your little brother after you guys became orphans, or you can use that money to buy off a bunch of echomancers so you can do evil deeds, right? Like you can literally do whatever you want with it, but it's like you already have a bonding thing, and that is that you are all vault hunters, whether it's for good or for bad. That's why you're there,
and
right?
you don't have to be the hero, and you don't feel like you're being punished. Like if you guys had teamed up with her, it would have been a little different.
And that's the nice thing too, is that like
you wouldn't have been punished for it. Though.
Yeah, you're all individuals, very much so, like more so than other tabletop RPGs. Because even in Pathfinder, D&D, and like even the other games we've played, it's like, well, I need to find a reason to like have the same motivations of the rest of the party. Whereas in this game, I was like, I could do something completely different if I want to. Right? Like if I was worried about like if my wife was alive and I was worried about dying, I could have been like, well, I want to team with the Lich so I don't die, so I can make it home to my wife. And they could have not, and it would have made sense. Right?
Total sense.
We have no inherent loyalty to each other.
Oh my god, I thought there was going to be betrayal, but like I thought Vec was going to be like, all right, sick. But then he was like, no,
I'm invisible.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But and I like that. Like I like that it gives you a reason. Like it already gives you a reason for adventuring, so you can just take that and run with it however you want, right? And it always makes sense. But
okay.
What about you? Final thoughts on this whole thing?
I don't know. I've been real stressed. Dating, seen how stressed I've been.
Oof.
Just trying to think of the story. Not that I haven't enjoyed it.
Yeah, DMing is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
I'm nervous.
And it was like my first time DMing, and I was doing it for the podcast. So that was like an extra layer of stress. But I've had a lot of fun.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Only to gauge myself, because I'm a very fire from the hip DM.
Okay.
Can I ask how much of it was like, this is definitely planned, like this is what I'm planning for, and how much of it was, well, fuck it, we ball.
Yeah.
I need to make something up.
I had Freddy
Okay.
and his whole little story in the beginning planned. Not the like, oh, head back, get the things. As like a decoy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had Misty, like maybe, and I had sentient fog as a note.
Yeah. Which I thought was really cool.
This whole final thing, a lot of it I had planned. A lot of like the triggered skill of like taking I didn't plan on taking the Tanuki. I didn't plan on the Tanuki being there.
Okay.
I went back and forth a lot about like whether the king and queen were still alive, but I was like, no, it doesn't fucking make sense. Like, because there's the aspect of like, you want him to see his world burn, but also you're just like, I don't like you. Die, please. Thank you. But most of the final interaction, like once you got in the castle, the actual fight planned, like that.
Okay.
The choices you were given, that was planned. Like you could either side with the Lich, maybe not all the details, but like you could side with Lich or you could side with the king.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it'd be revealed eventually the king was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the calico thing on the fucking spider, not planned whatsoever. Literally that day. Doctor, again, maybe the day before, not planned. I'd say probably 80% of this was not planned.
Sick. That's gonna be me.
And like, I was worried about it, but like, I love this group works together so well that in the midst of playing, I would have like inspiration. I'd be like, all right, I could have it go this way instead of what I thought. It'll make a lot more sense. It'll just flow better.
I think that's something we do. Like, I don't want to say deceptionally well, but like, again, like the first time I played D&D, it was awful, right? Because I didn't vibe with the
Same.
group. And dude, it really, I think what really helps with us is that we are all comfortable with each other, right? Like, we can all say things, we can all discuss like what is and isn't okay, like in our games, and we like because of that, like the game flows, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're playing with people you're not as close with, it's kind of hard to be like, I want to play this character and just kind of do it, right? Because you're worried about stepping up on other people's toes. But with everyone's really close to each other, it's like it's very easy to like to wing it and to have your players play off it because you're all boys at the end, and you know nothing's gonna affect how you look at each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried that I was gonna be stepping on your toes, actually, Joseph, because like we're both melee characters.
Yeah.
But like I think we did pretty well about like
I think so,
branching
too.
off
It
to
was
like
sick.
very unique characters as we went along.
It's also wildly stressful being it being my first game ever. And then it was also being shared. And then we also did the crossover.
Yeah.
First crossover
Oh yeah, you did a lot of.
in the
Hey,
thing.
look at you!
And then
bro.
like there's a lot of other different interactions like outside of this that was happening during my campaign. And I was like, this is so stressful. It was a unique experience for this. And I was like, I'm gonna die from the stress. And then I didn't, and I'm fine.
Here you are alive.
And I'm like, I'm just thinking about how much it's weird because it's a motivator.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry. Take that out.
It is a motivator, and it's also like a weird amount of stress, but I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the story that we created together.
It was really cool. It was really
I
fun.
want to say thank
Yeah.
you to you guys,
you.
fucking nerds.
Look at us. We got
I
so
don't know. I
many
can't
dice.
get too sentimental.
Okay, so coming up after
Yeah.
this episode, we have Mork Borg going up until the
A
week
real
just before.
anti-palate cleanser.
Yeah.
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 They're probably, it's gonna
gross.
be
Trigger
so
warning.
dirty.
Content warning, I guess.
Yeah, they're
Don't listen to it if you're not.
Yeah, if you like to listen with your
It's
kids,
a lot.
or if you want to stay holy in the eyes of the Lord, don't listen to it.
yeah.
We always have the explicit tag on just in case, but truly
Yeah.
It's
not
one of the
because of
bloodier-
cursing. It's just because partially because of cursing, but because of content. It's rough. If you're not in the right mindset, please don't listen to it. Like it's not good. There's abuse, murder, gore, violence, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's short, but
Please
it's
do
definitely
not
one of
listen
the.
to it if you're not in the right mindset.
Yeah, it's one of the bloodier.
And we'll be back after New Year's with something a little more fun.
Yeah.
Being ran by our very own.
It's your boy. It's me.
Yeah.
I'm running it.
I'm so excited.
What are you running?
I'm running Shadows of Asterians. We've got it a couple of times already, but it's nice to actually say it. Yeah, we'll have Mork board and maybe a 2 1-shots or 1 2-shot to fill in the time before
Yeah.
Misty gets back from counting the stars.
Ah,
But
Missy's coming
she's coming back, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
finally
But,
mastered the Force.
Shadows of Asterion, we've already gotten like their permission to use their soundtrack with
Yeah.
the game, so that'll be really cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I really look forward to it. I haven't DM'd in a really, really long time, so I'm really
Yeah.
nervous. But I already have ideas about where I want the story to go, and I think it's gonna be really fun.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
I'm
Awesome.
excited also to not be at this.
I'm nervous
Little
to be
table.
sitting where you're sitting.
Yeah.
I am so excited to play again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice
It is
after, yeah.
Got a little
After
break with
DMing for a
Bork,
while.
Bork, but I don't know if I'd call that a break. That was no, I don't want to give away spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
fun. It's
still-
definitely really fun. It's
I like jamming.
I do
more
too.
board. No,
but,
I like
I like
GMing too.
GMing,
I like
but
everyone
good
else
God.
GMing, honestly.
but it is very stressful.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a lot like GMing when. No,
Yeah.
I'm really nervous. I think the
It's
thing I'm most
different.
nervous for is that it's hard to gauge, I think, how long episodes are gonna take.
Yep.
It's gonna
And so
take
you-
some practice.
Oh,
you need
yeah,
like a
yeah.
good amount of content.
if you
So,
can't
like-
tell, I still haven't got it down.
Dude, that's what I'm most nervous for. I'm like, okay, I have like the general story outline, but I'm like, okay, episode 1, like I have main story elements, and how much side story elements do I need? And if I introduce a side story element, how many episodes is that going to take, right? Because they're going to jump on
And
it.
how off track are we?
Yeah,
gonna get?
exactly.
Yeah. And how often are we going to just say, no, that's not the main story?
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
We literally did it outright, right? We were
Yeah.
like, yo, fuck the giant, the figs, bro.
Figs!
Or how,
Yeah.
listening to your guys' theories about what was going
my
on.
God.
Yeah.
There was one point where you guys said it, and I was like, yeah, that would be fucking wild, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Like, you were, like, pretty close to spot on. I was like, I can't fucking imagine.
Yeah, that would be nuts, bro.
Oh, it's like, just think if that happened, and yeah, that was the case. I don't remember what it was, but I was
I
like,
can't
wow, that's weird to even think
Yep.
about.
Anyways, have a good one, Rejects.
Yeah, we rambled a lot.
And
All right.
yeah, I hope you enjoy our ramblings. And
Look forward to more board.
yeah,
Yeah.
look forward to more Borg or skip it entirely and come back to us
Shadows of
after that.
Astarion.
Please,
Yeah.
if
Misty
your
will be
mental
back.
health ain't it, don't.
Yeah.
It's rough.
don't.
It's like a
Save
little
it for
heavy.
later when it's not like sad time of year.
Yeah, Shadows of Astarion
Save
will,
for the spring.
if
when you're feeling
I'm
better.
right, also make you sad. So it'll be sick.
Perfect.
Awesome. Shadows of
We love dark
Astarion.
storylines here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So,
All right,
so sad.
deuces, Rejects.
You smell bad.
Later,
Take a shower.
nerds.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening.
You're the best, but we hate you.
Wow, that was a bit much.
Oh, that was honest.
No, I don't hate you.